Hello and welcome to UEFA Nations League first round, and we have so many good games. For instance, Spain, Portugal, but many more, Germany, Italy, and others very interesting. Let's analyze every single game with Alvaro, with Dani, with you. Leave your comments, press the like, subscribe, and now let's go on with the show. Nations League, we have many good games. So the football clubs is over with the Champions League final, but we have a great month of June. Hello, Dani. Hello, Alvaro.
Ciao, Edu.
So we are going to see each other a lot in the next few days with many good games. So let's start with the game we have on the 1st of June. On Wednesday, we have Poland-Wales, because Wales, they are playing on Sunday, the final of the playoff to go to the World Cup. So here, Dani, I'm almost pretty sure to back Poland, because for Wales, this is only a friendly game, I guess, a training game, just to prepare that game on Sunday. And Poland, I can guess that they are going to take this game first very seriously, and second, at home, they are always a difficult team to beat.
They're not very spectacular, Poland, but they are effective. And yes, you're right. Why would Wales risk any of the top players after they got the playoff final in 3-4 days? Poland are already in the World Cup. They beat Sweden in the final. It was not a spectacular game, but they managed to keep the door shut. And then they did the job. They made the most of two mistakes of the Sweden defense. It was curious because that game was the first game in charge for the new manager, Min Chenwitz. So he actually won that game, got the team to the World Cup, and now he's got more time to work with the team. And, I think they need to pick themselves up, because the qualifiers for Poland were really disappointing. Yes, they drew against England at home, not another great game. And then they qualified basically because they got a late win in Albania couple of weeks after. Look, I think if you look at the team, it's pretty much the same team, Poland, for the last 3-4 years. And obviously it is an aging team, and there are some players that this season they have been a little bit out of form. For example, I mentioned Zelinski and Napoli not had a great season, but there are others that are coming on, a couple of new faces, and especially obviously the addition of Matti Cash since a few games. It has been terrific for Poland, and for obviously it's been very good for Aston Villa. It gives them a little bit more. Big question mark in which state of mind Lewandowski is gonna be with his future, a little bit uncertain maybe. And, let's not forget, I think in these games, in the Nations League that we will see, I would expect a few surprises, and I would not expect great games. It has been a long season, okay, for players, and now we got 3-4 games to play. I'm not sure they're gonna be the most spectacular ones, I think, and there's gonna be a lot of rotations in the squads. It's almost playing a mini tournament, but with less at stake. Having said that, I like Poland to win, and I like Poland to win comfortably this one. So I'm gonna go for an Asian handicap -1, 270. So if Poland wins only by 1 goal margin, don't worry, you got your money back.
I think it's gonna be a very important window, in my opinion, because all the managers are gonna prepare the World Cup that we have in November, and they are not gonna have time anymore to prepare for 1 month these games. But for Wales is a different case. Alvaro, we saw them very competitive with Gareth Bale, of course, as a main star. But as Dani said, why would they risk any player when they have the final on Sunday?
That's the thing. And also, as Daniele said, tiredness is playing a factor right now. I mean, how many games have they played this season? Every player. And let's don't forget that summer 2020 and summer 2021 were not conventional summers, in the sense that summer 2020, in summer 2020 football didn't stop, and in summer 2021 we had Euro and Copa America, and then in January 2022 Copa Africa was being played. So what I mean with all this is that all these players, everyone, need this summer to break and to rest. And these are basically the last 15 days of competition for the top players. But they are very important days as well, because probably the national team manager said, all right, fine, club football is gone. it's over, you are tired, but at the same time, now you have to put your shift for me, because we have a World Cup in November, hopefully Wales as well, and we really need to train tactical patterns and to work on our strategy, and I really need to identify which player is valid for me or which player won't be featuring in the World Cup. But in this game, I think in this one in particular, Poland versus Wales, I think that Wales are going to be thinking in the second game, because the second game is more important. I mean, their next game, either against Ukraine or against Scotland. I'm pretty sure about that. So that's why I totally agree with Daniele's picks here. Daniele, you and I, we're getting too boring. I mean, we have to have a fist fight or something like that at some point in life.
We should spend less time together, I think.
Yeah. What the hell? Stop calling me midnight, Daniele. Okay, Poland to win 185. Poland to win the second half. I like this one a lot, because maybe Wales in the second half are not taking this so strongly. I'm not saying that they're not taking seriously, but they'll be thinking a little bit about the next game. Poland to win the second half 260 is a value that I really rate here. I could go for those things. Just a couple of things about Wales very quickly. They beat Austria in March, as you remember. That's why they are in the playoffs finals. Gareth Bale is gonna be ready for the game, Edu, because he's ready to play against Liverpool. He's ready to play against Liverpool in the Champions League final too.
I'm sure he will play.
Honestly, it's so funny. Gareth Bale basically is
no problems in the back anymore.
No. He's ready always for the important games. And Gareth Bale scored 2 goals against Austria for Wales, but I don't think that in this game he's going to play the 90 minutes. No way against Poland. I mean, maybe this game presents the game against Poland a good chance for Aaron Ramsey to get his confidence a little bit back after missing the deciding penalty against Eintracht Frankfurt. And I would like to single out one defender of Wales that this season I think that he was very good, thanks in part to Antonio Conte, Ben Davies. Antonio Conte knows how to prepare a defense, and Ben Davies benefited immensely from the Italian coach.
There were some rumors about Gareth Bale being offered to Atletico de Madrid, which would be just amazing, so he could stay in Madrid enjoying the sunshine and the golf course while preparing for these important games of Wales, what matters most for him. Then on Thursday, we have 2 more games, Czech Republic, Switzerland, and Spain, Portugal, both in the same group. Let's start with Czech Republic. Switzerland, here the Swiss are favorites because the Czechs are not in great form. I think after that great victory against the Netherlands in the Euros, they've been going through a rough patch, also probably because Patrick Schick is been injured most time of the season. They are out of the World Cup after losing against Sweden, and Switzerland, as we saw against Italy, even with Jaquín as a manager, Alvaro, they are very, very competitive.
Yeah, because Jaquín came in the middle of the qualifying and kept Switzerland first in a group with Italy. Switzerland are going to play their fifth World Cup in a row. Since Germany 2006, they haven't missed any. And in all fairness, they've got a very good group of players. I mean, we're talking about Sommer, a decent goalkeeper, then Akanji, Borussia Dortmund, Ricardo Rodriguez, Torino, Embolo, my favorite Swiss player probably, Granit Xhaka, Freuler, Shaqiri, who is in the United States, or in the MLS right now, but still for Switzerland he's normally put in a very good shift. And I think that Switzerland is a very good proposition right now. They didn't lose a game in the World Cup qualification, and I know that Jaquín came in the middle of it, but Switzerland hasn't lower down their level significantly after his arrival. And then they are playing against a Czech Republic side that is not in the World Cup, a Czech Republic side that they are going through their own issues as well. And I believe that, look, logically speaking, I think Switzerland could win here, but at the same time I cannot back them completely. I don't like the idea of backing them completely that much yet, because I think that at home they are going to be stronger than away from home. I'm talking about the Swiss. A draw could be interesting. It pays 340. It's a lot of money. And this is the kind of game that could end up in a draw. But maybe what I like the most here is the goals market. If you go for the over 2.25 goals, It pays 191. You can't believe it. It pays 191. And why am I going for that? Because the Czech Republic are playing at home. I hope that they can score a goal. And because Switzerland, they've been scoring goals in high-profile games lately. They scored against England. They scored against Italy. They scored 3 against France. Probably you remember that last summer. So yeah, Switzerland has a very good scoring threat. So over 2.25 goals. I'm going to stay here, 191.
Yeah, I like that. I can't believe it. I almost picked the same, but I think the big factor is Patrick Schick. Without Sweden, you could tell they were not the same team without the Bayer Leverkusen striker. Now he's back, by the way, and he scored 4 goals in the last 4. So that'll definitely help them to give them a reference. Also because up front, they haven't, the players haven't had a great season. Josek, 12 goals for Sparta Prague. Peckart, only 10. Barak, though, Antonin Barak, had a very good season for Verona in double figures. So I would expect a good partnership. Barak behind Schick, and the goals could flow. Organized, the Czech Republic, disappointing after the Euros. 2 wins in the last 3 at home, but they never score more than 2 goals in those games. It could be an over 2.5 goals if you want to be a little bit more courageous, if you like. So 3 goals or more, 220.
In this group, we also have Spain-Portugal, an Iberian derby, a high-profile game. Luis Enrique called Asensio and Ansu Fati. Portugal just qualified for the World Cup after beating Macedonia, thanks to Bruno Fernandes scoring a brace, perhaps, Danny, because we are seeing a lot of quality in this pitch. We can imagine that we are going to see many goals, but be careful, because recently we saw 2 friendlies between these 2 teams ending 0-0.
Yeah, the one in June 2021, 0-0 against Spain, you mentioned. I think Portugal were disappointing in the qualifiers. They struggled a lot against teams that were defending deep. I see them struggle against the Republic of Ireland, of course against Serbia, who hit them on the counter. They turned up when it counted, so in the playoffs against Turkey and Macedonia. They've never beaten a top teams recently. Against the last 6 games against top teams, no wins for Portugal. So this is another test. And at the Euros they were convincingly worse than the top teams that they played. Let's see what happens, because there are some interesting names that have been called for these Nations League games. Leao, the best player in Serie A, Rafael Leao, voted by everyone as the best player. And then there is Ricardo Horta from Braga, which we talked about a lot in our Europa League videos. I think any other season, these 2 players start for Portugal, for sure. But with the talents they got up front, they are fringe players. But I would expect them to play many minutes in this Nations League. Maybe the concern for Portugal is the centre-back pairing. Is Ruben Dias going to be fit? Otherwise, it's going to be Danilo.
I don't think so, Danny.
So it's going to be Danilo and Pepe at centre-back. And that's where maybe the concern could be against a very pacey, quick spine team. But I think the value here, in terms of betting, is on Portugal. Still a team that's got a lot of attacking threat. And I found the value on Portugal to score the first goal away from home. That pays well, 230.
Alvaro, what do you expect? Do you also think we are going to see goals? The problem for Portugal usually is a lack of concentration. We saw it against Serbia. We saw it against Turkey. They have a great group of players, but they lack continuity.
Yes, they do. I think that this is a problem for them. Also, I can't forget that the last 4 meetings between Spain and Portugal have ended leveled. And Portugal have secured draws in their last 5 games in Spain. So, just for you to know, the draw pays 340. I think that this is the same money than the Czech Republic Switzerland game that I was mentioning before. 340 for a result that happens quite often between Spain and Portugal is good money, just for you to know. But I've got some other picks here. Both teams to score. Why? Because Portugal has the firepower that Daniele broken down before, even Ricardo Horta or Leao. They are players that can inflict pain on you, and I really want to see them playing for Portugal. And then the Spanish defense is not the best defense. And I think that Spain tactically does very many things well. I explained this in the past, but then the individuals tend to make a lot of mistakes. I really don't know who is going to play in defense because, in my opinion, the best two defenders that they've got now in the squad are Íñigo Martínez and Pau Torres, but both are left-footed. But at the same time, Luis Enrique played left-footed, two left-footed centre backs in the Euro because he was playing in Laporte and Pau Torres. Laporte, by the way, is out. So, it can be the case that Spain is playing with two left-footed centre backs. Then the squad is quite good. I mean, there are some key absentees. For example, Pedri is one of them. Gerard Moreno is another one. Laporte, as I said, is another one. But generally speaking, Luis Enrique doesn't mind too much because he doesn't have any player, maybe apart from Pedri, that plays every single game. I mean, from the absentees. And the team that Spain can play is quite decent. But the thing is that they are prone to mistakes. So that's why I'm going for both teams to score here, because I believe that the goalkeeper, Unai Simon, is not the best goalkeeper right now, or is not having his best form, sorry. David De Gea is not in the squad. Then David Raya and Robert Sanchez are the other two Spanish goalkeepers. None of them are like world quality like Thibaut Courtois. Then the defensive problems are broken down. And then, up front, not having Gerard Moreno can be bad for Spain. But Asensio is back, by the way, which I found a bit odd. And Ansu Fati is back after his injury. So maybe we can see Asensio and Fati playing for Spain. Fati is especially entertaining, even though he hasn't been fully fit lately. And in the games he has played against Betis or against Villarreal at the end of the season, he was showing a very concerning lack of pace, but maybe he has had some time now to rest and he's going to be very good for this game. So both needs to score 190. I also like the Asian handicap minus 0.25 for Spain, 197, just because they are playing at home, meaning that if they win, you win, and if they draw, you get half your lose.
And the best Spanish defender, in my opinion, Nacho Fernandez, is not in the list. It's difficult to understand that, but Luis Enrique doesn't like Real Madrid's centre back. Then on Friday, we have in Group 1, Croatia, Austria with a new appointed manager after a great season in Manchester United, Ravnik, arriving to Austria after a bad run. They are out of the World Cup, losing with Wales. They did a very poor qualification to Qatar, and Croatia, as always, Alvaro, a team full of experience, a bit veteran. Of course, they didn't play a good Nations League after being runner-up of the World Cup, but this is a good time for, I guess, also the new manager, the Croatia's manager, to make some changes and not always put the same players in the pitch that we all know.
Maybe, but they are so competitive that it's inevitable that you end up starting them. I'm going for Croatia to win here. It pays 220, and I like it because Austria is not in their best moment. Even an Asian handicap minus 0.25 for Croatia, 185. The decaf double chance. Look, Austria has a new manager, Ralf Rangnick. I haven't seen a single picture of Rangnick with Austria, by the way. I was getting crazy yesterday trying to look for one of them in Getty Images on Twitter. I mean, if he's in the Austrian camp, we haven't had any images of that, any pictures. 5 days ago, he was training, coaching Manchester United against Crystal Palace in one of the saddest season finals of Manchester United in years. They lost against Crystal Palace, by the way. And Ralf Rangnick at Manchester United hasn't worked at all. Let's not forget that this season they've been like 20 or 15 points worse than last season, with the best striker in football history, Cristiano Ronaldo, with the addition of Jadon Sancho last summer, the best winger in the Bundesliga, and the most condecorated centre-back I can think of, Rafael Varane. Manchester United, with these ingredients, has been a worse side than last season with Ralf Rangnick. So the appointment has been a disaster. Austria is going through a bad moment. They lost to Netherlands, to Italy, to Israel, to Scotland, to Denmark and Wales in the last 12 months. Those are many, many losses. And in the Euros, they were kind of entertaining. I did like, for example, the diagonal passes from Alaba to the second post. I think that was one of the trademark tactics that Austria was using. But at the same time, I don't see them good. I don't think that they are good enough at this stage to beat Croatia, especially because they've got a new manager and all that, Maybe it's been a little bit turbulent in the Austrian camp, and they concede a lot of goals actually as well, and this is something that cannot go overlooked. I mean, they got clean sheets lately against Moldova and Faroe Island, but then when they played against high-profile opponents, they always conceded many goals or want too many goals. So as I said before, Croatia to win 220.
I like Croatia to win as well, so that's my point as well. I think for Austria is surprising because I think individually they're full of good players. You know, Arnautovic had a good season, Sabitzer, but he's a good player. Leiner, Schlager, these are all players that play at top level in Germany, but somehow they kind of lost that cohesion, especially that defensive solidity. Let's see if Rangnick has got more time maybe to work with the team, they can get it back. For Austria, for Croatia, very competitive, not great qualifiers. They only managed to win in the last game with a beat 1-0 Russia. The question is, how tired are the key players to be? I don't think Modric is going to play this game, for example. After 3 days after the Champions League final, I don't think he's going to play. They will be without Perisic because he's injured. He's been outstanding for Inter. Brozovic for Inter has played every single minute. Again, how tired he's going to be. And then they don't have a goal scorer. The thing is, Croatia are very industrious. They do create chances, but they don't have somebody really to decide the game. Even with a simple or stupid goal, Rebic, for example, from Milan, is not even in the squad. They are unbeaten in the last 7 at home, Croatia. They can definitely dominate possession here, but I could imagine a very low-scoring game. So I'm going to go for Croatia win. But you might even go for Croatia to win 2-0. Could be 1-0, 2-0. An easy win for Croatia, maybe.
Very good one, that one.
Much more interesting on Friday. We have France, Denmark, probably two of the best national teams right now in Europe. And I'm not only talking about France. We all know the quality of the French team. Of course, Mbappé now is even more a national hero. He manages, I think, very well the comms in his country after staying in PSG, saying that he's doing that for his country and not for his pocket. But now facing Denmark, Danny, this is a huge test. Be careful because Denmark is full of quality. They show it in the qualifications for the World Cup, brilliantly scoring many goals. They show it also in the Euros, only losing in the semifinals against England. This is a great team, the Danish one.
No, it is. And it's a team that produces a lot of chances. They often ends their attack with a cross or a shot. So it is a team that really has got a lot of end product. But so has France, which has got a lot of choices up front and in midfield. They are the Nation League holders. They left at home, for example, a player like Giroud, who had a very good season for Milan, the only players to go in double figures for Milan in Serie A, and still they got a very deep and strong squad. Some interesting call-ups from Deschamps, Saliba at Marseille, probably the best young player of Ligue 1, Klaus from Lens, and Upamecano is at home, for example. He didn't play, but they got a strong squad with Theo Hernandez on the left-hand side of the defense, with his brother again in the defense as well, and then a very strong midfield, a lot of physicality there. Kante, Tchouaméni, Camara, who just joined Aston Villa. It is a great side. Again, I think the Champions League final is gonna have a weight on this one. I'm not expecting Benzema, for example, to play this game after the Champions League final, but no problem. They got much more up front, obviously led by Mbappé.
Fine. They are fine.
Do you think he's gonna play?
No, I'm saying that even without Benzema, they are fine.
They will be fine. And Mbappé solve these issues. I mean, I don't know what the price is for Mbappé to score, but I think that could be a good one to go. Mbappé to open the scoring against the Danish. But I think after all, France could be comfortable in this one. I'm going to go for an Asian handicap minus 0.75, which means if France will only buy one goal, you win half your stake.
France, they are getting the results, but in my opinion, they are leaving us many doubts even against big teams. Alvaro.
Collectively, definitely yes to that. But then you check the squad. Okay, imagine that Karim Benzema doesn't play a minute. Then they got Mbappé. They've got Antoine Griezmann, who hasn't had a great season, but they also have Nkunku, who is the best player in the Bundesliga, who has been the best player in the Bundesliga, and Wissam Ben Yedder, the second best scorer in the French league. I love Ben Yedder. I think like his futsal skills making such a special player. And you check the squad and they got talent everywhere. The only thing that I'm not 100% sure about is the midfield, especially because Pogba is missing, I believe. Pogba is missing, definitely. But generally speaking, they've got a very, very good team. And I think that they have to back France here. They are playing at home. France to win 172. I like that one. And even I could go to the goals market because I think that the game will start with Mbappe scoring at least one goal. So it will be an over 1 plus 1.5 goals because Mbappe will score 1. So over 2.5 goals, 2.2. I like that one as well. But let's don't forget that Denmark is a very good side. In the World Cup qualification, point-wise, they have been the best team in the qualifier with a ratio of 2.7 points per game, all together with Germany. And their squad, we know who they are. We know that Christensen, Hosberg, Eriksen, they are even referential players in their position. And Kasper Schmeichel, a very good goalkeeper as well. And then they've got plenty of footballers in the team that they work really hard for the team and that they raise their level, even if at club level they are not doing great. And Martin Braithwaite, for example, is a very good example of that. I think that in the Euro, he was putting a hell of a shift for the Danish team. So, as I said before, I'm going to back France to win, but the game is going to be quite entertaining. France to win 172.
Denmark only lost the final game to Scotland, but they are brilliant. And on Friday, we have Belgium, Netherlands. This one I have many doubts. This is also kind of a derby. In Europe, I have many doubts because the Netherlands, they are going to play finally the World Cup under Van Gaal, but with many doubts, I think, in the World Cup qualifiers, also in the Euros, losing to Czech Republic. And this Belgium, Alvaro, is also far from the best one we've seen lately. They are losing big games against France, against Italy. Recently, also, the best players like Lukaku or Hazard are not in their best. That's why now I have some doubts about this Belgium team.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with you because looking at the odds I have cherry-picked here, I haven't chosen, I haven't gone for the full-time market, not at all. I went for the goals market. I think that the goals market are more of a certainty than the full-time market right now. Yes, you're right with Belgium. I mean, Hazard and Romelu Lukaku have been two of the best ever Belgian footballers, and probably their best game together was against Brazil in World Cup 2018. But these two players, they are dimming down a little bit. Eden Hazard due to injuries, Romelu Lukaku because he made a poor choice moving to Chelsea. He was fine at Inter, and at Inter he would have kept on scoring so many goals, but he went to Chelsea and that didn't happen. But some other players obviously can step up as well. Kevin De Bruyne, for example, the other day, he was so important for Manchester City to win the title against Aston Villa, giving the last assist to Gundogan, an assist that only him can give. I mean, he's the master of sending the ball to the second post. Yannick Carrasco, Atletico de Madrid player, has had a very good season too. Then Yuri Tielemans, I think that he will be oozing to show a very good level because I believe that he hasn't signed a contract yet with his new club, and his contract with Leicester ends up right now. So probably he wants to grab team's attentions in order to get a better contract. So, I think that the Belgian team is fine, but maybe they are not the power force or they were 2 years ago, maybe. But still, some of their players, they are in their prime, and Kevin De Bruyne and Yannick Carrasco are one of them, and Thibaut Courtois is the best goalkeeper in the world for me. And then when it comes to the Netherlands, I'm not too sure if Louis van Gaal is going to be there, actually, because he's receiving treatment for his prostate cancer. If that doesn't happen, the assistant coaches are Danny Blind and Edgar Davids. So let's see who is on the bench, hopefully Louis van Gaal. And when it comes to this head-to-head between these two teams, well, Belgium has been unbeaten in 7 times against the Netherlands since the start of the millennium, but all those games were friendlies. Is this one a friendly? The Nations League? Some say yes, some say no. I'm saying no. I'm going for the both teams to score 175 and over 2.5 goals, 192. I think that this is going to be a proper scoring feast. And let's don't forget that the Netherlands, they've got a very good striker in Danjuma, another good striker for the national team like Memphis Depay, so goals can happen.
Stop copying my tips. I got the same. I got exactly the same. Like next time I want to go first. Anyway, I think both teams are high scorers. Okay, I think that both teams are high scorers. Dutch football is progressing well, is evolving. Feyenoord in the Europa Conference League final is an example of this. They should deserve at least a goal against Roma. The national team is in good shape. 1-1 against Germany. Recently, they won 4-2 against Denmark. They are unbeaten in 9 games with Van Gaal. They seem to have a better structure. I don't think either of the defenses are very strong. I'm not sure if Virgil van Dijk is going to play this one again after the Champions League final. And, the Netherlands up front, they got Depay, who had a good season for Barcelona, and they got also new blood, which some of them were mentioned by Alvaro, Danjuma, Noah Lang, Gakpo. These are high scorers. They got goal scorers in them. So does Belgium. So again, I think you could combine over 2.5 goals and both to score 336.
Danny, let's go first with you in the next
Thank
one
you.
then. Hungary, England. We saw this game in the road to Qatar, 0-4.
Can I say my tips? Can I say my tips before Danny?
Did you say that?
No, I'm kidding.
We saw this game, I was saying, in the road to Qatar, 0-4 for England. This is a one-sided one, as we can see at the odds, so 1.45 for England to win this game. We should expect, I guess, Danny, a good performance of England because they are very reliable recently.
They are. And although at Wembley finished 1-1, England-Hungary, it was a bit of a strange game. England were already kind of qualified, but a 4-0 at Budapest, it was almost like we're playing cat and mouse. First half 0-0, England had so many chances. In the second half, they convert them all and they put Hungary away. Only lost 2 of the last 6 Hungary, but again, after the Euros, which they were playing at home, they were disappointing. I wonder, do they have enough quality? The squad is the same, pretty much. There was at the Euro. Jobolzai, the Leipzig player, is the best player they got. He's been through some injuries. He's not even a starter for Leipzig now anymore. And then up front, they got good physical players, Salai, Solzai as well. Very similar surname. You might get confused with those. But I'm not sure. I think England has got too much quality, really. And I think Hungary are going to be bottom of this group with Italy and Germany. England to win pays not much. England to win the first half. That's where the value, 201.
So it was like a bit of a flop, I would say, for Leipzig. It's true that he's been injured in great part of the season. England to win, I guess. No, Alvaro, you also trust Southgate's men?
Well, I trust them so much that I have picked like 3 or 4 odds for this game, actually, and all of them are favorable to England because I think that England, they've got the kind of team and the kind of players that against lesser opposition, they trust them completely. They destroy them completely. And you just have to go to the list of results of England over the last 3 or 4 years, and you will see that if they lose games, it's only against top sides. They have lost in the last look. In 2021, they lost a game against Italy, and that was a draw, the European Championship final. Against Belgium, 2-0. They lost against Denmark, 1-0. But, then the winnable games, they negotiate them very easily. For example, I'm going to give you only their last 5 games. England 3, Côte d'Ivoire 0. England 2, Switzerland 1. San Marino 0, England 10. England 5, Albania 0. England 1, Hungary 1. But generally speaking, England know how to win the winnable games, and they've got one of the best strikers in Europe, Harry Kane, and so many players who score a lot of goals. They are very physical too. So I'm gonna back the following: England to win plus over 2.5 goals in the game. That pays 298. So I'm doing a mini ACCA in this game. I like England to score in both halves, 2.5, even though Daniele said, and it's true, that England scored many goals against Hungary in the second half, but not any in the first half, in their last outing. But anyway, England to score in both halves, I like that one too, 2.5. Or an Asian handicap of minus 1.5 for England. That pays 232. And of course, Harry Kane to score. He scores a lot of goals for England. That pays 2. So as I said, I've got plenty of odds here, and I like all of them, really.
Last game is Italy-Germany. Let's go with Danny because otherwise he complains and it's his national team. Italy, let's see how Germany also performs with under Hansi Flick because they did the job in the World Cup qualifiers against small teams, Danny, but this Germany is failing against big teams. We saw it at the Euros. We even saw it against Spain in the Nations League. So it's important for Germany also how they are going to perform against a big team. I guess Italy is still a big team.
Yeah, it's a classic. And as we have mentioned before in the video we done before about the Finalissima, Italy have got the opportunity to kick on again. And this is the first game in front of the home crowd after losing to Macedonia. They're going to play in Bologna. They don't normally play there. There's going to be a full stadium, a good atmosphere. I think there are going to be changes because Italy plays 5 games in 14 days, including the Finalissima. Mancini has called up to 36 players. I think here we're going to see the rotation and the new Italy without Chiellini. This is the first game without Chiellini. Bastoni from Inter, great defender, is going to take his place. It is an opportunity to start from scratch, to have a little bit more quality for Italy. The record against great top teams for Italy is not being great, as I said in my previous video. Normally, when Italy wins those games, they are low scoring. I think this is where maybe fatigue could play a part, and it could be a bit of an ugly one, a bit of a cagey one maybe. Could be an Italy win if it's under 2.5 goals. I'm gonna go for under 2.5 goals, 191.
How many World Cups in this game, Alvaro?
How many? Good question.
8.
8, yeah. 8 World Cups in this. Unbelievable. It's still incredible that Italy doesn't play the World Cup, but anyway, that's...
Oh, well, we still go with a chance with the things with Ecuador, eh? You never know, eh?
Oh, yeah, that's true, but...
You never know.
The question is, who will be getting that, right? No, but seriously, I wonder. For this game, it's a good test for Hansi Flick's men as well. Hansi Flick's Germany. The team with Hansi Flick hasn't lost yet, even though they have had a run of very easy fixtures. The team of Germany is still, for me, one of the nicest when it comes to creativity in European football right now, even though Toni Kroos is not in the squad. He wasn't picked for this game. Florian Wirtz is injured too, but Germany can feel the likes of Sule and Rudiger pairing up as centre backs, which is pretty good. Both of them are swapping sides, by the way, this summer. And then Goretzka, Gundogan, Gnabry, Sané, Havertz, very good players. Even Timo Werner has been performing really well for Hansi Flick in Germany lately. So I think that for this game, look, I'm gonna go for an Asian handicap 0 for Germany. I like this one a lot. That pays 218. Basically, it means that if they draw, you get a stake refund, and if they win, you win. And otherwise, if you want to be slightly more conservative, Asian handicap 0 for Germany in the first half. It pays almost the same, 208. I like this one. And an Asian handicap of plus 0.25 for Germany, meaning that this is the decaf double chance. If they draw, you get half a win. If they win, you win. This is very interesting too. Altogether, yeah, as I said, these are my picks.
Let's go quickly with the ACCA. Danny, your ACCA?
Poland win, Spain, Portugal both to score. France win, Belgium, Netherlands over 2.5 goals. Odds 11.73.
Alvaro, yours?
Spain, Portugal both to score. Belgium, Netherlands both to score. England to win over 2.5 goals in the England game. Altogether 9.9.
We made it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Speak soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed the video. We don't have football clubs games, but we have nations and many good games. Remember, leave your comments, press the like, subscribe, and also remember that we have a podcast for you. Thanks for watching. Bye.